Hmm.
Yo, yo, yo. Man, what's going on, man?
Same old, man. Same old. Life is good. Life is
Life is good.
good.
Life is good. Anyway, it is the King and I Life podcast hosted by myself, Soul Touch the Poet, and my brother in the house.
Sounds so Lex up in here.
Hey, we say it all the time. Follow us, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, like, subscribe, and share. Follow us on whatever podcast platform that you subscribe to. So let's go ahead and drop a few gems on them.
Man, if y'all would hit us up on that
Fight Club.
yeah. I'll take that back.
You
All right,
bugging. You bugging right
All
now.
right. Y'all can find us on King and I 369 at gmail.com, KINGANDEYE 369 at gmail.com. You can also find us on that Patreon. That's what I was meaning to say. And if you guys want to contribute to the show, help us, continue to build and bring on better guests, you guys can hit us up on our Cash app. So, again, all proceeds go back directly into the show. They don't go into either King or I's pocket. So, anyway, much appreciated if you do. Thank you.
Yeah, and we are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube at King and I Life Podcast. And we are streaming live on Twitter at Soul Touch of the Poet official. Soul Touch the Poet. Anyway, if you follow me on Twitter, you can find it. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, before we I'm tripping. We both tripping.
One of them days, I guess.
We was planning something, but we couldn't get that person locked in, so we had to dig in the crates on a topic. But before we get into that, hope everyone is doing well. Prayers and thoughts to a friend of mine, Debbie, who lost her brother recently. Good friend of mine. Yeah. Hard times for some people. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else to throw out there. Go ahead.
The comedian Paul Mooney. I haven't had a chance to check the facts yet, so don't quote me, but they say that he has passed away. So if it's true, shouts out to his family, and everybody send prayers their way.
Yeah, I saw that. Saw that earlier. Yeah, saw that. But yo, other than that, it's a good goddamn day. I hope everyone is doing well mentally, physically, and emotionally. What else do I have? Damn, I'm bugging. I'm bugging right now. But I think today's topic is going to be funny. I think so too. If you have not tuned into our podcast on whatever podcast platforms that you subscribe to, go ahead and check out our podcast. We got some hilarious shit out there.
Yeah,
some serious shit, but it's hilarious. So go ahead and check that out. I think tomorrow's topic that drops tomorrow is about the age gap dating. A fellow Mannheim person of that we know had posted something on her page, and I was like, "Damn, we just did a topic about this, subject." So 2 people asked me to tag them on that when that drops. So I'm gonna shoot that out to them. That's gonna be a interesting one
for sure.
But tonight. Tonight's topic.
Yes, there it is.
Why do men assume they are relationship gurus? Um, that's the question of the day. And as you know, around here, we are not male chauvinists. We are pro manhood, but not, we recognize.
Definitely,
Um,
definitely.
so before we get into it, what are your thoughts on this topic, man?
I think that there are a lot of men who have life experiences, and the ones who are in the spotlight, I guess you can say, they're making some mad cash off of their life experiences. So naturally, when it comes down to relationships, whether they do books or movies or whatever the case may be, uh, they doing their thing. But a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, as far as like on YouTube and other platforms like that, they are really stepping up also and giving out, some sound advice,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be to males or females. So I definitely see that there's a large market for it. People
It is a
want
large market.
good, solid advice, and there are plenty of men and women out there giving what they feel is good advice. So
Yeah, they out there.
that's my
Um,
stance. How about you?
so you're looking at it from the celebrity aspect mostly, or
Uh,
the YouTube and the social media creative aspect.
I will say basically it's like a dragon with two heads.
Mm-hmm.
Because no matter which direction you go in, you can find plenty of these gurus out there. So I'm just gonna say it's a dragon with two heads.
Mm. Um, I want to try to keep it to the common guy, the average dude that we can relate to,
Right.
but not shying away from those who think they have PhDs in this subject. I I largely think some of it is an ego thing, a popularity thing because they have an audience, they feel they can speak,
Right.
and most of them out there that I've heard say things here and there or whatever the case may be, they don't speak from a they speak of what they know.
Right.
I don't think that they mean any harm, most of them, but I think a lot of them are speaking from what they know because not even professionals get it right all the time.
No, they
So
don't.
So I feel like a lot of these dudes with these platforms are speaking from because they have popularity and have an audience. Um, you and I, we could sit and talk about damn relationships all day, but we can only speak from what we know, what we
True.
experience, what we've been through, and our trial tribulations and successes wherever they come in. So I mean, that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. I mean, again, when it comes down to the celebrities who consider themselves gurus, and again, who have written all these books and made movies about relationships, hats off to them. I mean, again, I think that they're making these movies and these books. They're basing it off of their own life experiences.
Yeah,
So again, dang near any man who pays attention to women like that, if he pays attention enough, he's attentive enough, then he has something to say. So I totally get it.
yeah, I get it too. I get it, but yeah, I get it. Um, so hey, let's get into it.
All right. So
How
how much
much?
does
Go ahead. Go ahead. You got it. Go ahead. You got it.
ego play in our role in a relationship?
When it comes to these gurus,
Yes, sir.
okay, so I'll say it like this. When it comes to these gurus, I think a lot of ego plays into it because um I think a lot of them speak because they know somebody is listening, and because they carry themselves in a certain way, they think what they say is right and applicable. Um, Now, when it comes to the average dude that you and I can directly relate to,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think it's a ego thing, a immaturity thing, a thing where somebody done gas their damn head up, or something like that. Um, and I think a lot of them just be talking out the side of their goddamn neck sometimes. Um, because again, I am no relationship expert, um, but I've been through some shit,
Right.
and I'm not afraid to admit my shortcomings and stuff like that. So when I hear some of the things people say, I'm like, what planet are you on? Like, that may work in a certain situation at a
Mm-hmm.
certain time, but that does not float across the board. And the way some of these dudes speak, it's like they are saying they're talking in a way in which what they're saying should be straight across the board. And it's like, no. You have to look at cultures. You have to look at family background. You have to look at economic class. You got to look at society of today. So that's how I feel about that part.
Well, I'm in agreement with you, and I'm gonna take what you said and take it a little bit further though.
All right.
Um, I just think that with some of them,
Mm-hmm.
they feel that again they can speak off of experiences, but at the same time, they're not able to relate to these times that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning they keep viewing relationships in the past and how things were when they were growing up, and things of that nature. And I think they have a certain audience that caters to that, you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
the messages that they're pushing. But again, because of today's society and the state of the world and where we're at right now, um, I don't see us going in the past. You
Mm-hmm.
can't throw it in reverse. So I just think that their ego plays a big role into the things that they say in some cases. I'm not gonna say all cases, but some cases. So that's
Yeah.
how it comes in.
Yeah. And another thing that I will uh take a shot in the dark and throw out there is that for the longest time, men have had and still have the mentality of, you know I'm the man, so what I say should be law. What I say should go. um and part of the problem that I think, I assume, I think, I feel, all right, this is not law.
Right.
They are looking at images from the past in TV, movies, books, and hearsay, and they're trying to assert that position, yet they have not been raised in a way to have them, you know, to actually live in that position as the leader of the household or the relationship, or a guru when it comes to that role in a relationship.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that you were speaking on earlier, as far as like there are so many different cultures where certain things are acceptable and aren't acceptable. So any advice you give, it can't go straight across the board. It doesn't
Hmm.
fit all cultures and situations. But again, there's a large audience out there where people are looking for advice, and some of these celebrities, I feel that they're giving out solid advice, but to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Because again, it's kind of like you're trying to predict the future, and you can't. it's one of those that, you can only go off what you've been through in the past and where you are here in the present. Circumstances and situations always change. So again, we're in different times now. So some of the
Hmm.
information that you're giving out is,
Outdated.
thank you, definitely outdated.
Oh man. What else was I going to say to follow up with what you were saying? I can't even remember, um but another thing when it comes to culture, it's like, um if it's a culture thing, let's just say American culture compared to African culture or Middle Eastern culture, um in those cultures, they've been doing this for centuries and forever and forever and forever with little deviation to what they do. If you
Right.
look at American culture, it's like whatever is the next wave is how we rolling. Um, and because we have such a dynamic way of leading or being knowledgeable in relationship things. It's like, well, what you're saying was fine 5 years ago, but it's almost invalid now.
True.
Um,
So true.
what was going on 20, 30, 40 years ago is non-existent right now. And things that happened in the 1920s, 1930s is like historic. They went the way of the dodo bird. So you got to get that up out of here. You can't do that.
Definitely. So let me ask you this question then. With how media is nowadays, with Instagram and Facebook and so on and so forth, how big of a role do you think that actually plays as far as like all these so-called gurus coming out now? Do you think that that's impactful, or you think that it's just the times we're in now?
It is impactful because people have trained themselves to rely on social media for the answers. Um, Instead of going out there and living the experience or learning the experience, they are basing their knowledge and uh, expertise on what these social media gurus are feeding.
Right.
Um, and and the biggest problem with that is, a lot of them, well, I'm not going to say a lot of them, some of them out there who are parading around like relationship gurus are at home stirring a pot of shit. And you know when you are at home stirring a pot of shit, but you on social media acting like you serving up souffle, and then your shit get thrown out there, it's like, uh how you gonna recover from that? And I'm specifically speaking to the about the Derek Jackson thing, because I follow him, but I've never really looked at watched any of his videos in great length or detail.
Right.
um I've seen a few of his clips on Instagram or whatever, but then when it came out he was cheating on his wife, I was like, ugh. Y'all chokers was giving him a lot of love on YouTube and all that, and then he was supposed to be a relationship guru. But again, I'm not knocking the dude, because I assume he was spitting something that can relate to people. But again, he is speaking from what he knows. He I don't know if he's speaking across the board. I don't know if his effect or his reach or his knowledge is that broad, but
Right.
that floats his boat. I mean, if people feel that they can tune in and listen and vibe with what he's saying, more power to him. I got nothing.
Yeah. I mean, with that particular situation, again, like you said, the way it all came, out and unrolled itself, um, I, I get it. meaning you can't be one way in front of the cameras or your phone and then be another way behind. You know what I'm saying? You know, like you said, stirring the pot there. But my thing is this, again, not knocking this man because I don't know the man, but when you put yourself out there like that, you got to make sure your words and your actions are lining up with each other. Because if they're not, then you will find yourself in a situation such as that gentleman.
Yeah. 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 And when I'm gonna tell you straight up, when Steve Harvey came out with his book and when he was talking about think like a man, act like a woman, or however it was, it might be backwards, but however he said it, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I mean, that may be valid somewhere, but how does a woman think like a man? Like, really? That's just like telling a man, act like a man, think like a woman. To me, that's virtually fucking possible. I mean, I could pay attention to a woman, but I can't think like one. I mean, because as soon as you think that you're thinking like a person of the opposite sex that you are in a relationship or situation with, they may deviate from, what your impression of that person is. And it's like, damn, I thought I had this person down. They switched the shit up. Now I got to think again. No, just pay attention to your goddamn environment and your surroundings and your situation. And that's all you need to do. Don't think like the opposite sex. That's just my thought. But hey, who am I? I'm just the average dude.
That do make sense though. It makes sense. That's a good one. But that whole book, I mean, that book, it sold millions of copies. I can't say how many, but it was up there. It's a large sum. And again, when the movie came out, I was thinking to myself, okay, well, he took the book and made a movie, so he's doing quite well with it. So evidently people are paying attention. I actually had a female friend of mine who read that book, and she agreed with a lot of the things he was saying to me, myself. I just kept my opinion to myself. But again, he's selling books and making movies. So
Did you read the book?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I have the book. I tried to read it, but I couldn't get past the damn cover. I think I watched the movie, but I really didn't watch the movie. I think the movie was like background noise or whatever the case may be. I don't know. I might have to go watch it to see what it's about. I probably won't read the book. I don't think that book would interest me, but
All right.
I'll probably skim through it just to see what's up. See what he's talking about.
I did see the movie though, and they threw in a lot of comedy to help get points across, make light of certain situations. I'm not a movie critic. Would I go back and watch it again? Probably not.
That speaks a lot.
No, it's nothing against the movie itself.
You ain't got to lie, Craig.
I think that it's more of a
comedy
movie for females, kind of like
chick flick.
Yeah, chick flick. So
the kind of movie that you watch when you want to get some buns. That's what you're saying, pretty much. That's what you're saying, right?
Something like that. Something like that. But
okay. So pretty much you're saying the movie was garbage.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying, it caters towards women a little bit more than men, I think. But again, if you haven't seen it, I'm not recommending it. But hey, if you got nothing else better to do, do your thing.
Interesting. Um, I would say to that point, uh, if you haven't watched this movie, Bridges of Madison County with Clint Eastwood, I would rather watch that and learn some valuable relationship points rather than watching the act like a woman, think like a man. Because to me, that movie was act like a woman, think like a man is more of a comedy, and I get it, but I would expect something like that to be just a little bit more serious. That's just me.
All right. I feel you.
I could be wrong. No, I'm not an expert. just a just a dude on the podcast right now.
So does age and life experiences make a difference?
It should. It definitely should. Um, like with anything, if you are doing the same damn thing over and over and over and over again, and you're not achieving anything, you're not uh, growing mentally and emotionally. If your maturity level is not stepping up, then please don't call yourself a relationship guru. Um, and don't, yeah, just don't, because how how do you talk to a woman as if you're Mr. Know It All and you don't know shit? Um, you can barely maintain yourself. Uh, you know, you still smelling your own ass, and you trying to tell somebody else how to wash theirs. Like, I, I don't know. Like, you got to help me out here. Like, I've seen so many out there with this attitude of, you know, acting like they're a relationship guru, but you sit there and listen to them for a good 5-10 minutes, and don't let them get no alcohol in them. That increases the stupidity that comes out of their mouth.
Right. I just had another question, but I want to hold off on it. I think that life experiences do play a key role in how some of these gurus give out advice. It's kind of like if you've been through a few wars, whether you won or lost, hopefully you learn something from them.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, I do think that life experiences and age is a teacher,
Mhm.
but it's just that again, some of the advice that some of them are giving out again, they're just prehistoric, so they don't necessarily apply to today's culture.
Yeah, and they need to stop assuming that makes them a guru. Um, because again, Asian experience can be a gift and a curse for a lot of people.
True.
It's either you're going to learn from, what you're going through, or you're going to allow your age and your experiences to handicap you in your growth and knowledge of relationships. Um, I've seen a lot of dudes out there who go through a bunch of BS or deliver a bunch of BS, and the first person they blame is the person that's across from them instead of looking in the mirror and blaming themselves
Right.
or humbling themselves and saying, you know what, yeah, I did that. That was messed up. I need to do something different, or I need to think differently, or something like that. Because tarnished thinking is tarnished thinking, and if you're not attempting to um, change uh, with age and experience, then that's just going to be what it is. You're just going to keep on that same path of stupidity.
All right. So let me ask you this then. I mean, with so many of them being out here right now, do you think that um, it's kind of a fad, for the lack of a better word, or it's just, one of those things that's gonna be here, but in a few years or whatever, or a few months, it's gone?
Um, I do think it's a fad. Now I have not seen a lot of these so-called relationship gurus out
Mhm.
there. Of course, you got Steve Harvey, who's a big public figure. You got Derek Jackson, who's very popular on Instagram and YouTube, and you got Kevin Samuels out there who's been blowing up. And there are several others out there. And then you have the ones who are kind of like I don't want to say capitalizing, but I want to say they are building their influence off of these other big names, and
Right.
they're providing their input to what these other people are saying. And it's like the most that they can do, the most that you and I can do to add context to the conversation is either agree or disagree. And you know if we get popular in our stance when it comes to that, then we get popular in our stance, but that doesn't necessarily make us a guru. Um, and yeah, it's a fad. As long as you catch that good wave, you on. If you don't catch that good wave, you just preaching to, you know, to cyber emptiness or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But yeah, I do think it's a fad.
I mean, I have to agree with you. I think that over the course of time, there won't or will not be as many well-known so-called gurus
Hmm.
because it's kind of like a liquor store or a church.
Right.
You find one on every
Every corner.
corner. So it's kind of like, and I get that every person has their own audience that
Hmm.
that cater to them. So again, I get it, but when you have so many bulls in one pen, eventually, there's gonna be a fight to a certain extent. Like people are gonna get tired of watching the same thing. I think
Yeah. Yeah, when you have so many bulls in a pen, it's only so much smashing they can do before they cancel each other out.
that's it.
So that's how I look at that one. But yeah, interesting. So, uh, are men learning from male figures in their families, TV, or the streets, and or social media?
Ooh, good question. I'll say for the majority, I think social media.
Hmm.
And I'll just be honest. Social media is a real monster right now.
Boy,
It's
it
like
is.
sweeping across the world right now.
Oh my God, you're killing
Um,
me softly.
so it used to be, on TV and movies, they blew things up as far as like relationships and how relationships ought to be, as they say.
Hmm.
Um, and then you will have, the old man down there by the corner store that knew you ever since you were, a little pup, as they say.
Knee high to a hockey puck.
Yes, sir. Um, so they used to have those type of influences on you, meaning those corner cats.
Hmm.
But those corner cats aren't there anymore. Not
Right.
like that, And even if they are there, they way older than you, but they still trying to chase behind the same age frame as you.
Uh,
So it's kind of like they're living that fifth and sixth damn childhood.
hmm.
So if you haven't progressed in life like that, how are you trying to give me advice
True.
when it comes down to those gurus on the street?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I can say, uh, I will say, not can say, I will
Right.
say, I will interject my thoughts. I don't think it's a lot being taught at home, um, because as generations go by, the youth get more hard headed and think they know more than the previous generation.
True.
Um, TV has changed from, as you were speaking about TV has changed from what it used to be. So you don't have those. relationship type situations anymore, to where someone can actually learn and regurgitate what they learned, and be an apprentice on moving up to relationship guruship.
Right.
um, and then you have the streets, where, as you was talking about, the older heads, they used to sit in the park playing chess, and you
Hmm.
know sitting on the stoop with with their little bottles of liquor in a brown paper bag, and schooling the youngsters,
Yeah,
um,
man.
or stuff like that, or taking a youngster out fishing, and stuff like that, and talking to them. So you don't have that anymore, and hell, they don't want to hear it anymore. Then you have the lure of social media, where everybody has a PhD or MBA, or they're double majors in relationship expertise, and you know that's what it is.
Yeah, definitely. It just, I don't know. I guess I at my age, I see the cycles of life,
Hmm.
and again, when it comes down to relationships, um, I take it in as I go, as they say.
Right.
With my current situation, I watch people on the outside and some of the
Hmm.
things that they go through. So it's kind of like you can give advice, but you really can't give advice because it's
Yeah.
kind of like
Good point.
when you're standing on the sidelines, you see things that's going on the field,
Hmm.
but when you're actually on the field, you're more engaged. So you might not be able to see what's going on the outside if you catch what I'm saying to you. So
Everybody's a player, but nobody knows how to coach.
right. So when it comes down to these gurus nowadays, a lot of them that aren't in relationships are giving advice on relationships.
All right. Yeah.
So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. But hey, you can't you can't tell anybody anything these days because they know everything.
So true.
You only know. I mean, you only know what you know. You can only project what you've experienced. Unless that is your profession, like your profession. Now, I don't want to hear that you work at U-Haul, and on the side you just giving relationship advice on social media from what you dealing with at home. Nah, it's a big difference. You're not a guru. You just know the shit that you're going through.
True that.
Um, so yeah, that outside of that, I don't know, man. But hey, give some people certain platforms, and they run with it.
Yes, they do. Some are way more successful than others. So
Yes, they are.
hats off
Yes,
to
indeed.
them.
Yeah. So, what do men look for this in this day and age when it comes to down to choosing a mate?
Um, it's a good question. It's a good question. Some like their moms, some best friends, some soulmates, or a business partner. It's damn near a combination of all that. You know what I'm saying? When I say mom, you're looking for someone who's kind of like a protector, who's gonna look out for you, who's gonna, lift your head up when you're going through something.
Hmm.
Um, when it comes down to best friend, of course, you want someone who you can talk to, uh, share your thoughts with. Someone who's gonna bounce your ideas back to you, as they say. Soulmate, I think they do exist, but that again takes some time and some practice as far as like actually getting to know someone, and do you guys really do connect on that level?
Hmm.
And when it comes down to a business partner, you definitely want somebody who's conscious of, you know, their spending habits and their financial goals and things along that line. So again, when you're talking about a guru and the type of information that they're offering to people, I mean, they got so many different subjects to actually help people with. And not saying that, you know, they're an expert in each subject, but some of them they give out pretty good advice. So
Yeah. Um, when I apply this question to why do men assume they are relationship gurus, um, a lot of men, some men don't even know exactly what they are looking for when they're choosing a mate.
right.
Um, and then those who do know what they're looking for, they don't know how to deal with the blowback of what that person responds to when they say that, you know, what they want. Um, so, you know, let's just say a man want X, Y, and Z, and a woman comes up and be like, nah, you want your X, Y, and Z, but we got to put, you know, QRS in the mix to that. And, you know, you can't be a relationship guru if you can't negotiate that because, you know, it ain't all about you. It's all about her too. Um, and on the same time that, you know, yes, everybody goes into a relationship with what they want to get out of it. But you know, some of these gurus are not feeding the information of what you also have to put into it to get out of it what you want, deserve, or whatever the case may be. Um, so when you know a guy is saying, or you know, for whatever he's looking for, he has to know what he's looking for, what he's able to provide to get what he's looking for, and you know, and also accommodate what this woman wants. That I mean, I just don't see how you can be a guru and not understand that basic part of a relationship. But then again, I'm just an average guy.
Right, right. I'll attempt to add on to what you're saying. Um, I'll go back to the part where you're saying that, you know, men will say what it is they want, um, and women will say what they want. But
Mhm.
again, at the end of the day, what are you pouring into yourself to prepare yourself for what it is you're asking from your
Mhm.
mate? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So uh, yeah, you want someone who's making, you know, a decent income, and you know, who again checks off your box, whether you're male or female. And some lists are longer than others, but again, at the end of the day, what are you doing to prepare yourself for your mate? So when you see these gurus talking, again,
Mm.
for some of them that are single, like what are they doing if a relationship is exactly what they want, or a marriage situation is what they want? So again, it goes back to, you have to make your words and your actions line up. You
Mhm.
can't be a guru and your shit is not lining up. You know what I'm saying?
True that. True that.
So, can a man build himself into what he feels is his woman's dream man?
As it pertains to being a guru, um, he can, but again, I'm gonna have to, you know, this has to definitely deviate from the guru concept because
Yeah.
um, building a man building himself into what he feels is his woman's dream man. I think only the woman can tell a man that he's her dream man. Um,
I would agree with that.
and you know, he that's a hard one because I think that
True.
you can a woman can have a dream man list of things that she got to check off. You might miss 3 4 of the marks, so you might be a nap man. um
All right.
so I don't, outside of that, I can't even say anything else towards that.
No. Um, I'll say I wouldn't necessarily try to be a woman's dream man. And the reason I say that is because when you're dealing with people in general, times change, people change. So you're in a process of trying to build yourself into what someone else feel is their dream man. But at the end of the day, uh, again, things change. So I would just say on this particular topic, just build yourself up to be the best man you can be. And hopefully the person you are hits a lot of the check marks that's on that particular female's or that male's checklist.
Mm.
But um, again, I think a lot of gurus they push that. Well, I'm not gonna say a lot of them, but some of them push that. You know, whether you're male or female, you have to build yourself up to be the best person you can be.
But that should go without saying, though.
True.
You don't
So
need to
true.
be a guru or listen to a guru um, to know that and live that.
Right.
And again, don't even strive to be a guru to prescribe to that, because being the best you that you can be for yourself and to appeal to somebody else should be one of the basic things that a person should be doing out there.
So true.
You can't be expecting so much from someone else, and you fall short in so many ways.
That's there. So with that being said, do men lead by example? Meaning they plan dates, they plan vacations, they plan entertainment for the relationship that they are in.
Some do. I don't think they do it as much now. Um, and I think that's part of the problem, especially when someone is claiming to be a relationship guru.
Right.
Um, and again, I haven't listened to enough of these so-called gurus out there to really get, their take on it. It's just some stuff out there. I just is information overload, and I'm not going to do that to myself. I'm not going to do that to myself.
So true.
So, yeah, I mean, there are some out there who are telling men that they need to do this and do that, but a lot of them just think they just, you know, God's gift to the planet, and they don't want to listen, or um, they think flashing around material things is what's going to do it. Um, and they think they gurus because it works for them. It works. It attracts a certain type of uh, woman that they are appealing to, but it's not all the time a longevity thing. So yeah, that's what I got on that.
Yeah. Um, I think that men, to a certain degree, it depends on what it is you're looking for in a mate. As far as like you always taking the lead on majority of, like to say, planning days and planning vacations and entertainment and things along that line. Um, I could see why gurus push that because I think if you're the one doing the planning, it kind of showing that you're the one who's taking charge. And by you taking charge, that's saying that you are showing or taking initiative in order to get things done. Um, I don't know. I just think that there's so many different aspects to a relationship, and it shouldn't be carried out by just one person in the relationship. Um, but you know, again, that's some of the advice that they give. So I guess if it works for you, it works for you.
Yeah, I guess so. Um, so what qualifies a man to be a relationship guru? What say ye?
Ooh, that's kind of a hard one right there because
You think so?
yeah,
Mm,
I mean, you can go to school and get all the degrees to back it up, saying that you're an expert or guru, as they say.
hmm
But if you're not really out here living life and engaging in this particular field, meaning relationships, it's kind of hard to say that um, you're an expert.
hmm
I mean, if you've only been in one relationship all your damn life or your adult life, it's kind of hard to say you're an expert, even if you do have the paperwork to prove it.
mm. Um, that goes down to a question that I was thinking in my head the whole time.
All right.
What is the definition of a relationship guru? I think that needs to be answered um before saying what qualifies a man to be a relationship guru. We have
Okay.
to define what a relationship guru is. Because you know, hell, I could be cocky and say I had 3 marriages. I'm a relationship guru. And some people say, nah, you're a relationship failure. Um uh a woman, it is that has to be defined before a person can consider themselves, or someone can consider them a relationship guru.
hmm
And I mean, well, yeah, I just, I have so many words in my head, but it just, it all boils down to how do you define what a relationship guru is? Um, you know, relationship guru, relationship expert, relationship specialist. Um, I think that you can just be. I think you can have so many titles in that, but I just don't know what would qualify the average man, and and mainly these social media characters, what qualifies them to be a relationship guru. um I'll go back to Kevin Samuels because I've been listening to a lot of his videos. I will say that he's very knowledgeable in the relationship arena, and from everything that I've listened to from what he's saying, I've rarely heard him say anything that I disagree with. Um, Now, Derek Jackson, again, I haven't really listened to him that much.
hmm
Some of the things that I have heard, yeah, you make sense. Um, but as far as calling someone a guru, I just don't know. And the funny thing about that is, you know, you know who Dr. Umar Johnson is, right?
Yes, sir.
He had an issue with Kevin Samuels about how he was talking to black women and this, that, and the other. But at the end of
Mhm.
the day, if you're calling someone, you're going on their platform for this advice, and he's giving it to you straight. And not only is he giving it to you straight, he's actually responding to the nonsense that you're presenting or saying.
Right.
And would I say he's a relationship guru? No, but I would say he know what the hell he's talking about.
I would agree with that. Um, I mean, when it comes down to being an expert at anything, again, it just depends on the person that you are trying to relay your information to.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I know plenty of mechanics that can dang near tell you anything about a car that have never gone to a technical school or went to a private institution to learn about cars. They just picked it up and read everything they could read and worked on cars,
Mm-hmm.
and have done it for years. So to say, are they an expert? To a certain degree, they are. Um, they're constantly, learning new things. They're constantly trying to get better at their craft. But do that make them an overall expert? No, they don't. But again, that defines what is an overall expert. I mean, is
Mm.
it college degree? Is it life experience? Is it being able to engage in other cultural relationships and how they work? I mean, these are a lot of questions that have to be answered before you can come down to saying you are a real expert.
True.
But um, I don't know. I just think that a lot of the gurus that are out now, they just cater to their audience, and the ones that they're supposed to get, they get, and the ones they're not, they don't get. So
Yeah. Yeah. But it's funny that you brought up the car thing.
mhm.
The thing about that is, like myself, I didn't go to technical school or anything to learn how to work on a car. Um, but I know how to change the hell out of some brakes. Uh, I can change an air filter. I can change a cabin filter. I
Right,
can change oil. I can change a tire. Um, and that's basic stuff.
right.
And that's the thing. You have to look at the basics that a person knows from what they've experienced. But when it comes down to other things, when it comes to that overall subject,
Hmm.
um, I'm not about to sit there and tell you, break down a transmission. I can tell you how a transmission works,
Hmm.
but when it comes to taking one apart and all this, that, and the other, nah. So when it comes to relationships, I can be a guru in approaching a woman. That doesn't mean I'm a guru in keeping a woman.
True that. True that.
So
Very
so
good
when
point.
it applies to these so-called gurus out there, yes, you know what you know from what you've experienced. But if you have not experienced certain things, you can't really be a guru and give solid advice, so to speak. You can give your point of view from
Hmm.
what you've experienced, what you observed. Like, I can observe the hell out of a whole bunch of things when it comes to relationships, but no way, shape, or form will I say I'm a guru. No,
Right.
I just know from what I've observed. Like, if I've seen 10 people do the same damn thing and the 11th person come along, I'm like, hey, I don't think you should do that because I've seen these 10 people do this and they've all failed. You may say, well, I'm not them. Okay, I'll give you that. You're not them. But that fifth person on back said, I'm not them. I'm not a guru. I'm just telling you what I've seen from X, Y, and Z. But hey,
Very
you
good
can jump
point.
out there and try it. It might work for you. And if it does, well, yeah, at the end of the day, it all depends on, it all, boils down to, how do you define a guru?
True that. So, do these said gurus give women good advice, like Steve Harvey, Derek Jackson, etc.?
I think it depends. You know what? I'm only going to speak on Kevin Samuels because I've been watching a lot of his content lately, and
Mhm.
I've been watching it from end to end. Um, I would say he does give a lot of good advice. I would say that he is very straightforward. He doesn't sugarcoat. He doesn't. Um, I haven't seen him tell a woman what they want to hear. Um, and again, being that he's an image consultant and him coming from that perspective when he's giving his information to what people are giving him, I would say he does give good advice. I mean, how how can you want a man making $500,000 and you talking about you gonna be a candle maker? um how can you say that you want a man that's making $500,000, but a man like your father who's been married to your mother your whole life is not good enough man for you? So when I listen to him, I would say, yeah, he gives good advice. um I'm sure a lot of them give good advice.
Right.
But at the end of the day for me, um some of it you have to take with a grain of salt. I mean, like
Right.
you've said before, like I've said, like many people have said before, you take the parts that work for you, and all the rest of it you throw to the side because too much information overload, it's just not good. But then you also have to take in consideration your cultural experience, your maturity, your goals, your personality. You have to take so much into consideration. And the first thing that you need to do is you need to look inside yourself. And then again, let's just say all of them are giving good advice 100% of the time.
Right.
If the man that we're speaking of who is claiming to be a guru getting information from someone else, um if you can't take advice, um then you definitely can't be out here calling yourself a guru, because how dare you call yourself a guru, but you can't even, you're not, one, you're not leading right. One, you can't take advice. One, you're not mature. You're not taking into consideration a person's cultural situation, religious situation, and all these other things. So, yeah.
I agree with you. You made very valid points throughout. Um, really ain't too much I can add to that, but I will say this. Uh, I think that there are some gurus who give very sound advice. And
Hmm.
again, like you said, you have to take what applies to you, use it, work it, get what you need out of it, and the rest of it you throw away.
Mm.
Um, I do think that there are some gurus or said gurus, not dissing them or anything like that, but I just can't follow along with their advice. Um, and the reason being is their advice isn't for me, and I'll leave it at that.
Hmm.
Um, there are some who I do find uh, they give out great advice. Um, some more popular than others, but it is what it is. Again, I think that people just have to take into consideration where are you in the course of your life. Like what are you going through? Um, Again, what's your background as far as like relationships and family and things along that line, and culture exactly is another thing that has to be taken into consideration. So again, I just think that the ones that you are attracted to are the ones that give the best advice. The ones that you're not really feeling, they still give out good advice, but again, you can't take everything that they say to heart, and that's
Yeah.
just how I see that.
Yeah. I mean, but again, when you look at the average dude, and I'm talking about the dudes that we directly relate to.
Right.
You know, a lot of us didn't grow up with, and I'm specifically talking about men, not women.
Mhm.
A lot of us didn't grow up with role models in relationship, uh, area. So we had to learn on our own. Some of us learned faster than others. Some of us learned better than others. Some of us learned more technical than others.
Right.
Um, so again, when it comes down to it, what is the definition of a relationship guru as it pertains to men? Um, I do think a lot of men strive to be proficient in relationships. Um, but then you also have to take into consideration a lot of men are not prepared for the woman of today. Um, they're not prepared for the woman of tomorrow. And it needs to be that council of men to be like, hey, we don't know it all. Um, and I think that in order for men to be better better suited to be uh, knowledgeable in relationship management, they need to listen to a woman. Um, and at the same time, there has to be women out there who are, how do I want to say it, who are able to articulate and know who they are, and be able to express to a man, hey, this is where I'm at, this is where I want to be. And that man has to be able to, you got to both be able to sit in that boat and row in the same direction, so that, so you can learn. Because relationships is a life learning process.
It
So
is.
I can't see how someone could label themselves a guru. Yes, you could be knowledgeable. Yes, you can give good advice, but being that, you know relationships are a labor of life, I can't call anyone a guru.
I agree. So let me ask you this. Let me throw you a curveball right quick.
Oh shit.
All right. Here's the scenario, right? They tell us that there are plenty of fishes in the sea. Meaning
Hmm.
whether you're a man or a woman, there are plenty of other men and women out there.
Hmm.
Um, so when it comes down to actually catching a fish, and I need you to think about this one. Would you rather take advice from a fish on how to catch the fish, or take advice from a fisherman expert on how to catch the fish?
I take from both, because, you know yes, you can be an expert fisherman, um but have you fished all around the world? I mean, you can be in Alaska and I live in South Carolina. You can tell me the basics of fishing,
Mm-hmm.
but are the fish in South Carolina biting the same way they biting in Alaska? So I might have to pay attention to these fish in the sea in order to see what works to catch them. Um, and I think that kind of goes back to what we were talking about when we said, the older guys that used to sit out there and give the advice.
Right.
Yes, you can give the advice. I have to apply it to my situation in life. And if I can't apply what this expert or OG has given me, then one, he's going to look like a failure and feel like a failure, because whatever he told me, I just can't apply it. And then I'm going to feel like a failure because what I thought I heard, or what I cockily said, you don't know what you're talking about. Let me go ahead and do this. Then we're both, he's gonna feel like a failure. I'm gonna think he's a failure, or he ain't know what the hell he's talking about. I'm gonna be like, damn, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And then that leads me to the point where now I have to pay attention to the fish in the sea. Now I have to learn the hard way on my own, which I think a lot of us from our generation have done. We've learned on our own because either that person wasn't there or we ain't pay attention to what the hell they said.
Definitely. Good answer. Very good answer. And the reason I asked you that was because, again, everything you said, you have to take advice or look for more information on both sides. Meaning, if there are experts out there or so-called gurus, they offer plenty of information. Yeah. But again, you also have to pay attention to the person that's right in front of you. So it's kind of like you have to find that balance of that seesaw.
Yeah.
So I just had to ask you that question.
Yeah, I mean, it's basic, man. It's just to me, it's basic. No matter how difficult it is, it's still basic. Either you're going to want to learn, want to pay attention, want to be a sponge and soak it up and you know, soak up what's pertinent to you and apply it to your life, or you're not. But don't jump out there and call yourself goddamn guru like Derek Jackson and then, oh damn, he been cheating on his wife. I don't know if I could take his advice anymore. I don't think he's the guru that I thought. You know?
True that.
The other thing about it is, you know, people tend to not want to listen to people like me who's been married 3 times, because it's like, oh, what the hell are you talking about? You know, I would not say that I was a guru. I would say I know where I went wrong, and I would try to tell or you know, pass jewels on to the next person of some of the things that you might not want to do in a marriage.
Right.
Because, you know, I take, you know, whatever faults I applied, I take them honestly, and I say, yeah, I messed up this, I messed up that, I did this, I did that. So I mean, and no, people might think, oh, you think you know everything. No, I don't know everything. I would never profess to know everything, because I only know what worked for me and what didn't work for me. Right. And that's one thing, you know, as you know, older brothers, fathers, older cousins, uncles, or whatever the case may be, you know, we try to tell, you know, our younger ones behind us, and, you know, they don't want to listen because in their mind, they're like, oh, you think you know everything. And it's like, nah, I don't know everything. It's just that the things that you're doing in your life, you know, I may have done those things, and I'm trying to prevent you from making the same mistake that I make. I'm not saying I'm a guru or know everything. I'm just trying to tell you, you know, you may want to think differently when it comes to, you know, what you're doing right now, because it might not be favorable for you in the long run.
Exactly. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for tuning in to the King and I Life podcast. Again, if you guys have suggestions for future topics you want to hear us talk about, or if you guys want to be a guest on the show, please reach out to us at KINGAND EYE369 at gmail.com. Again, that's King and I 369 at gmail.com. Again, you guys can catch up with us on Patreon, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and all of your major podcast platforms. We out there. So,
we out there. And you know, outside of that, Yeah, check out the podcast. We drop episodes every Monday and Thursday. They're usually 2, 3, 4 parts or whatever the case may be. Check them out. Got some interesting stuff out there, and like Sun Soul X, if you want to be a guest on the show, you got a topic, hit us up at the email. We definitely would love to have you on here. Definitely love to have your input, your perspective, and stuff like that. Again, we live every Wednesday, 7:30 Eastern. Time willing, life willing, things come up. But hey, if you know a financial planner or someone who's in behavioral health, shoot them our way, because those are two things that we want to touch on: financial planning and mental health and stuff like that. So if you know someone who is well versed in those areas, plug us up with them so we can chop it up and bring them on the platform, because we feel like financial literacy is very, very, very important.
Yes, sir.
Especially moving into the future. And mental health is a big thing, especially for the children growing up in this social media age, where they feel like they don't have a life if they don't have social media.
Definitely. Well, I want to send out one more shout out. We want to thank everyone who's listening around the world, because we are now in 22 countries.
22, man. 22.
We are blown away, amazed by that. Like, we never would have dreamed. But anyway, our numbers are still going up. And hey, look for us in the country that you're in, because we are coming. So again, thanks for all of our listeners and our viewers. This is Sun Soul X of the King and I Life podcast.
Yeah. And a big shout out to Colton Brochelle Hall, went to school with us in Mannheim. That's his music playing in the background. We've been plugging his music on the podcast episodes that are coming up. So if you got a direct line to him, give him a shout out. Tell him we putting his, giving him some spins or whatever the case may be. But other than that, man, look, King and I Life podcast, Soul Touch of the Poet. We still got stuff coming. We keep saying it, but it's coming. It's coming.
Yes, it's on its way.
Coming.
For sure.
And other than that, you got anything else?
No, I'm good.
We'll see you next week.
Definitely.